Executive Director of Yunus Center, along with Tasmina Rahman, the Managing Director of Grameen Trust, who will share very interesting updates alongside Emmanuel de Merode, the Director of Virunga National Park, who's joining us online. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Lamia Morshed, Tasmina Rahman, and Emmanuel.
He's here?
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Can you hear us, Emmanuel?
I can, yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. So this is a very special segment that we wanted to introduce, Tasmina and I, because we met Emmanuel last April at the Social Business Forum that we organized in Kenya. And there was an instant chemistry between Emmanuel and Professor Yunus, because they're both concerned about exactly the same things, which is, I guess, net zero poverty, zero poverty and zero net carbon emissions, primarily, I would say. Emmanuel is working in the Congo Basin, which, as we know, is alongside the Amazon and the Indonesian tropical forest, one of the 3 lungs of the earth. So the oxygen that we all breathe around the world come from these 3 major lungs of the planet. And Emmanuel has been dedicated to working to preserve the Congolese forest. And I'm going to just read out a short introduction about him. Just one second. Huh? So Emmanuel de Merode was born in North Africa and spent his childhood in Kenya. He arrived in the Democratic Republic of Congo in 1993, and in 2008 was appointed Director and Chief Warden of Virunga National Park in the Eastern Congo, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and Africa's oldest national park. The park is famous as a last refuge for the mountain gorillas, which I believe Emmanuel helps work to protect, but also lies at the heart of a region that has suffered 30 years of armed conflict. Over the past 15 years, Emmanuel has overseen the work of the Virunga Alliance, an ambitious development program designed to foster peace and prosperity through the responsible economic development of the park's natural resources. Through the combination of electrification and financial services, over 21,000 jobs have been created in the local community, of which over 2,000 are estimated to be young men and women who have left the armed groups to reintegrate into their communities, offering a unique approach to environment protection and peace building. So in April, when Emmanuel met Professor Yunus, he came with a proposal of seeing whether they could work together to introduce microcredit for the communities in Congo, where he works. And I'm going to just hand over to Tasmina from Grameen Trust, whose organization is working directly with Emmanuel, to talk a little bit about the collaboration.
Thank you, Lamiapa. Good morning, Emmanuel. So,
Good morning.
Good morning. Grameen Trust, actually, at the invitation of Virunga Foundation, conducted a feasibility study in August 2023. And according to the feasibility report, there is a great prospect to start Grameen replication program in Goma, Congo. So for this purpose, a new entity, Grameen Virunga, is already registered as a microfinance entity, and they are now waiting for receiving credit license. As soon as credit license is received, we will send Grameen expert to Congo to start the Grameen replication program there, to raise the Grameen flag over Goma. So, yes, and we are and we hope that we are very excited, Grameen Trust is very excited to start the 156th Grameen replication program in Goma. And now we invite Prince Emmanuel to share the glimpses of Virunga Foundation as well as Grameen Virunga. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome.
Well, thank you ever so much. I feel very honoured to be here, and also very sad not to have been able to make it. Unfortunately, our situation in Virunga has been very difficult of late, which makes it difficult for us to travel. But really, what I was hoping to share with you this evening. Was in as succinct a way as possible the last 30 years of our story in Eastern Congo, and really this moment last year when this partnership was born with Grameen, and to really explain why it's such an important moment for us in terms of our overall objectives of what we're trying to achieve in Eastern Congo. So, of course, many of you will know that the region that we live in has been has a very tragic history. We're currently in our fifth civil war over the last 30 years, and over that period, over 8 million Congolese people have been killed, 8 million people who should not have died in that way. And it's really that reality that shapes everything we do. It's really the governing value behind all of our work. But at the same time, we're a national park. We're the oldest national park in Africa, with a national park that contains within its boundaries over 50% of every terrestrial species on the African continent. It also includes some extraordinary species like the three taxa, the three types of great apes, the gorillas, the mountain gorillas, lowland gorillas, and chimpanzees, which also give it an incredible potential, an economic potential in terms of tourism development in the region. But of course, the dominant reality is that we're a region of armed conflict, and this all began 30 years ago with the tragic events in the neighboring country of Rwanda, which suffered a horrific genocide, whose effects spilt over into Eastern Congo and precipitated a series of civil wars and periods of chronic violence. And those consequences we're still living with today. Part of those consequences has been the destruction of those resources that we work to protect. And in particular, the mountain gorillas were very, very badly affected. In 2007, there were a series of killings, and that affected all of the species across the park. On top of that, this period of armed conflict had a terrible impact on our own staff, on our own team. We're a team predominantly of Congolese young men and women who have never ceased to continue the work of protecting these extraordinary resources for the future of Congo. But of those 680 men and women, 211 have been killed over that period. It was estimated that when you join the service of managing Virunga National Park as a ranger, you have a 37% chance of dying of a violent death before the end of your career. And so this marks it as one of the most difficult services, public services, to belong to in the world. And of course, when you suffer that level of tragedy, you have an obligation and a responsibility to understand the underlying reasons, the deep-rooted causes of that violence. And if we are to stand any chance of establishing a future for Virunga National Park, we have to understand this terrible violence that affects the people of Eastern Congo. And one of the things that really helped us to understand the dynamics of violence around the park was this picture, which was taken by a friend many years ago, and which really explains some of the difficulties that we're faced with. And this is the picture of a group of victims, a group of women who are pleading to access the national park for fuel wood. And of course, fuel wood isn't just a question of enriching yourself, cutting the forest down to make money. For these women, it's really a question of survival in terms of being able to cook, but even more importantly, to be able to sterilize water by boiling it. And of course, it's a region that's deeply affected by waterborne diseases. And so it's not an option for them. They have to access the park's forests for fuel. And what we came to realize was actually the earlier picture that I showed you of the gorillas being killed is deeply tied to this problem. The militias were going into the park and killing the gorillas, not because they want the meat or the baby gorillas to traffic, but because they want to kill the very reason why rangers are protecting the forest, which are the gorillas. And actually, it's not the gorillas they want, it's access to the forest. And by killing the gorillas, the rangers will cease to protect the forest. And so that for us was really the first severe wake-up call that actually we were never going to successfully protect Virunga by protecting the wildlife. We had to engage with the community and find solutions to these much deeper problems that are tied to the livelihoods, to the health, to the welfare of the community, and find a way of building trust with that community through economic engagement on these critical issues. And so we started looking at it from a much wider perspective and really discovered that these problems were fundamental. There have been 5 civil wars in Eastern Congo that have killed 8 million people. Every single one of those wars has started in or around Virunga National Park. So Virunga is not, the key issue in Virunga is not about wildlife and biodiversity. It's about the dynamics of armed conflict and the consequences of that. That's the real issue. And so, we quickly discovered that fuel wood from the park had an economic value of what was then about $40 million a year. It's now reached about 90 million. The illegal fishing on the lake in the middle of the park, Lake Edward, one of the most productive lakes in the world, was at 62 million. And then there were other illegal forms of natural resource extraction, such as illegal oil that was developing in the national park. All of these resources together are worth about $170 million. If they're extracted illegally, they're enough to finance private armies, illegal armed groups. They're enough to finance wars. And that's really where you find the heart of the problem that we're confronted with in Eastern Congo. And in fact, when you look at the reports of the UN group of experts on the situation in Eastern Congo, every single one of those reports, and there are over 20 of them, refer to the illegal exploitation of natural resources as the underlying cause of violence and armed conflict. And so what we had to do was to find not so much a way of policing that. That wasn't going to work. We knew it wasn't going to work. We needed an economic alternative. And that was the only way of engaging with the community, getting the communities on the side of the park. And when I say communities, I mean that in a very large sense. 11 million people living within a day's walk of the park's boundary. And actually what we found were that there were enormous resources that could be exploited and create benefits for the community in a way that's even greater than what the trafficking was producing in terms of wealth, and that could be exploited sustainably in a non-damaging way to the environment. And these are, of course, the fact that it's a mountainous park with high rainfall, so very high energy rivers that can be converted into electricity, and then the possibility of relying on an incredible entrepreneurial spirit around the park to convert all of that energy into enterprise, into agricultural transformation. But what was missing was really the ability to combine the provision of cheap energy for a new form of industry with financial services. The two basic ingredients to really drive industrialization, to drive economic renewal in this very marginalized part of the African continent. And so about 15 years ago, we gave ourselves some very ambitious objectives to look at the national park. The national park is 2 million acres of land. That is incredibly fertile agricultural land, and it's been converted to, it's been preserved as natural land rather than being converted to agriculture. And whilst that is extraordinary for the global community, for the whole of humanity, in terms of preserving biodiversity, which is something we all care about, it also has a cost. And that cost is being borne by the people on Earth who can least afford it, people living in extreme poverty around the national park. And that cost can be quantified very easily. 2 million acres of land, a family in Eastern Congo, a rural family, will make $700 or $800 a year per acre, times 2 million acres. You're talking about over $1 billion of lost revenue for some of the poorest people on Earth, so that the rest of us can benefit, can enjoy the continued existence of the mountain gorillas and all the rest of the wildlife. So we're faced with an incredible dilemma there, and we need an instrument that can generate $1 billion a year for the poorest communities on Earth. And so, contingent on reaching those objectives is the ability to create employment. And so about 15 years ago, we came to realize that those were the targets that we had to set ourselves if this national park were to continue to exist. And so embarked on an incredibly ambitious energy program. We trained up Congolese engineers, Congolese business operators to build an extraordinary company that was converting all of the park's energy from its rivers that were kept steady, kept stable because of the preservation of the forests into electricity, and then through that electricity to start to embark on the whole process of enterprise building. And so we worked on a model which initially we thought we could do on our own, which was a model to provide microloans to small businesses that are linked to the kilowatt hour. It uses essentially the unit of energy from the park almost as a currency. And as micro businesses use that kilowatt hour as a currency, and it can be increased in cost to cover the reimbursement of a microloan, you're able to overcome some of the biggest barriers to financial inclusion, which are, of course, the whole issue of people living in extreme poverty, not by definition, not owning anything and therefore cannot provide collateral on the one hand, but also the incredibly high marginal cost of due diligence on new loans. If you're asking for a $200 loan and the due diligence of a bank is going to cost you $1,000, they won't let you through the door of the bank. So these are things I obviously don't need to explain to you, but for us it was all new. And so we were able to develop this model where we were using the smart meter of an electricity grid offered to a micro business as not just a source of energy, but also a source of finance, of investment. And it was very successful, except that we were never able to reach the poorest of the poor because they cannot afford even the cost of a smart meter. And so that's really where our approach had its limitations, and we weren't able to do the very thing that we were trying to do, which was to bring the benefits of an extraordinary ecosystem to the very poorest of the people living around Virunga. And so that's really what made this incredible meeting for me with Professor Yunus and his team was this sudden understanding that actually, if you combine the Grameen model of social collateral and peer groups accessing credit with ecosystem services provided through electricity, we could overcome that fundamental barrier and reach the entire population. And so that's where we're at. For all the difficulties, and these last 2 years have been particularly difficult. 13 of our staff have been killed in our efforts to try and keep this program going. We are nonetheless incredibly optimistic about the ability to reach those objectives of creating 100,000 jobs, of contributing over $1 billion a year to the local economy, a GDP impact of over $1 billion a year, and through that, really making a contribution to this extraordinary story that is Grameen's, and that is now spreading across the world, even to areas as remote as where we live. And so, although I really feel for all the challenges that Grameen themselves are experiencing, in particular in Bangladesh, we really do hope that we can realize this as an overall vindication that for the poorest people on earth, Grameen, in developing these partnerships, is one of the most wonderful approaches to poverty reduction, but also to the reduction of conflict and violence in some of these very, very difficult areas. So I wanted to just finish on a word of thanks for this partnership that we have with you. It really has made a big difference on how we view the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you. I just wanted to add one last thing. The story of Virunga is actually a film on Netflix. People can find out the whole story about the program that he's running in Congo. And we wanted to also mention that Emmanuel is actually a prince from Belgium who's very committed to these issues, and that he actually survived an assassination attempt in trying to do this work to protect the forest and to protect the communities. And we're very excited from Grameen Trust and from the Yunus Center to be collaborating with him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have my microphone? Oh, yes, awesome. Also, Virunga National Park is a park that you must visit when you're there, so hopefully you'll also get to trek with the mountain gorillas one day. Thank you so much for that presentation, for both Emmanuel Lamiapu and Tasminapu to come up on stage. Before I pass it so tomorrow on the June 29th, we have two very exciting events coming up, but they will be held at the Asia Pacific College in Makati City. The Academia Dialogue will start at 9 a.m. and will go on until 3 p.m., which will be followed by the 3-0 Club convention from 4:30 to 7:15 p.m. It's a full day. I hope you all join us. And if you want transport support, there will be two coasters that leave from Brittany Hotel at 8 a.m. and then at 8:20 a.m. So if you are interested to tag along, please report at the venue before 8 a.m. Thank you very much. With that, that is my closure. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I will pass it to my friend Erica for the 7th plenary session.
Thanks, Alia. So it seems like only yesterday when we started SBD 2024, and now we're entering our final panel. I know at this point, some of you might be asking, so what's next? After everything we've heard, we've learned, what is next? For our final plenary, we now look to the future with a session, The Journey Ahead, Future Directions for Social Business Movement. For this session, may we ask Professor Mohammed Ibrahim, trustee of the Yunus Center, to join us on stage and help facilitate this conversation with our esteemed panel. Our speakers include Professor Mohammed Yunus, our favorite birthday boy,
and parting with liberalism and joining into very right-oriented Europe to talk the most. European Union, we thought it is an early sign of world consensus. Now what do we find? Eurosceptics are in every country, the very fathers of the European Union. They have voted in a huge number, almost against it. So we are entering a difficult era. We cannot neglect that. And whatever we discuss will be under this background we have to talk about. And many things are unpredictable, really. War and other things. My own background, apart from university, is NGO. And I had been president, chair of the Bangladesh NGO Foundation for many, many years. And in the NGO world, in Bangladesh NGO world at least, we always talk about business-like. Our self-criticism was we do hand-waving things, never business-like. And business makes you accountable, looking for the return and measurable criteria. So this whole idea of social business came that whatever we do in NGO-like or social entrepreneur-like thing, solving problems, it has to be business-like. Now, it's not a new thing. I mean, people revered business. Business, it is the business which built the world after we left our, mankind left its hunting gathering time. It is the trade and business which made the civilization. But now that very business is at the root cause of all the problems today. All the problems. You name it. You just name it. Climate change, downturn in education, wars, big wars, genocides, whatnot. So what is wrong with that business? Profit motive and extreme wealth concentration. Unlimited. So there comes social business as an idea. We have been discussing all 2 days, and we have done it before also. Now, under the new circumstances, under whatever experience we got, we have to look at it again. Are we in the right path, or can we just go a little bit differently or whatever. At least we should think about it. We should think aloud. We have a wonderful panel today to do that. And it includes a variety, a diversity. And that shows the problem. And that shows the issues involved. We have the very established, very renowned corporate sector who were pioneering Danone, who were pioneering this concept of social business for a long time. We have, on the other hand, on the other end of the spectrum, we have the NGO-like things from Negros Women Foundation, Future Foundation, and also Thailand, Grameen Thailand. And we have also academia, how to build the youth on this issue. So these are the things in the spectrum. And once we address these issues, also, of course, we should not forget the technology, systems, system management. It has to be modern, it has to be technical, it has to be Tobias representing it, and others. Funding, Suresh is coming from funding the social business projects. So we have a full panel, and of course, Professor Yunus is there to tell the whole philosophy and philosophy of future too. And we'll start, before starting, I will just mention 2 points. Maybe it will be acting as a kind of a guideline or whatever, is that we are calling it a movement. It's in the title, movement. So movement means it's big wave and also ripples. It has to go everywhere. And for that, in future, it has to go to the people. People must recognize it. It must go to all people. How do we organize that? That's one big challenge. If it has to movement, and if it has to go to the mainstream, for example, mainstream academia, it is the movement which will force it to be in the mainstream. Otherwise, we can never be in the mainstream. We'll always be in the edge of it. So these are the basic things to make it generalized, to make it a real movement, and it's difficult. Movement is never an easy thing to do. It is difficult, big challenges, but we cannot avoid that. We cannot avoid that. So having said that, let us start with our friend from Danone, Valerie Maison. She is the community managing director, joining online. So everybody will get about 4 minutes to begin with. Later on, maybe 1 or 2 minutes for later discussions, please.
Okay.
Welcome.
Well, thanks a lot. Thank you for inviting me. So I am Valérie Mazon, the Managing Director of Danone Communities, which is an impact investment fund that was created 15 years ago. And we invest in social business that impact health of vulnerable population throughout the world by giving access to safe drinking water or nutritious food. So when I was invited to participate to the panel and to try to answer the question of what is the future of social business, I was thinking to myself, well, this is a tough one. Huh? It's not an easy one. So what I will try to do is to share from our learnings some direction of maybe ways to give even more power to social business. First of all, I firmly believe that social business models are more than ever relevant today, more than any time. And you have said it, Ibrahim, indeed, we are in a situation of political, economic, and environmental crisis, and social business, and I will say business, are also the solution to tackle those issues. So looking at what we have done within Danone Communities over the 15 years, I have taken out 3 pillars on which I think social business should either on faces or strengthen even more or leverage better than before. So the first one, and you have said it, Ibrahim, is about making social business mainstream. So therefore making sure that everybody knows about social business. And it starts with business school, ensuring that social business is within school curriculum. Within Danone, we see that lots of students that have been exposed to social business throughout their study, I mean, they are looking at business in a different way, and they are much more conscious of, okay, I'm doing business, but I know there are some externalities, environmental, social, and I need to take care about that. So being sure that young population, and they are really keen about that. I mean, they are looking for purposeful job. They are looking to do their part, and therefore everything starts at school, and then it should be followed in corporates. So we are lucky enough within Danone to have this Danone Communities Fund. By the way, employees can put some of their money in the fund, and today 40% of the fund is owned by the employees. So it shows how attractive is it. And when you ask, why are you putting your money in the fund? They say, because I want to do my part. I know that these businesses are impactful. They are positive impact on the society, and I want to play my part. So the first thing to continue to do, because I know, I mean, the movement of social business is doing it, is to ensure social business is embedded into business school and in corporates. The second one is something I think we need to do better, is to measure and leverage the impact of social business. Why I think it's important? It is because impact, it's not only building credibility, but it also facilitates access to financing. And today, what we see in the portfolio of businesses we are supporting is a difficulty to have access to finance. And there are more and more financial support that are linked to impact, such as result-based financing or pay-for-success financing, or for our business we are supporting credit carbon. And therefore, to show the impact of the business on the society, on the environment, help them to attract finance. And it helps them to bridge the gap between being indeed sustainable financially through their sales and starting a business. And when you were saying, Ibrahim, the issue with business is that what we are looking at is the return on investment. I will say here for social business, the return is impact. And we should say it clearly and valorize it better than what we do today. And the third thing for me is to continue to foster collaboration. And I'm very happy to see that around the panel, there are people from NGO, there are people from academy, from corporate, from social business, because nothing can be achieved alone. And we know all that. All of us, we bring something to the party. And we need to work all together if we want to impact at scale. Because the point what we need to demonstrate in social business is that we impact at scale, big, and we need to work all together to do that. For instance, at Danone Communities, we are part of lots of different networks, lots of NGO, other investments, and it's really impact at scale what is done in social business. So this is what I wanted to share. Continue to embed social business in business school and corporates, leverage impact, and foster collaboration.
Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you.
You can add something in the next round, maybe. Thank you. Please wait. Next, I will call Nazneen Sultana, Executive Vice Chairman of Grameen Communications. She's online. So, Nazneen.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me. So actually, today's topic is future direction for the social business movement. And this year's theme is the exit route from the current self-destructive civilization. And in this situation, it is very important. All the developments, political, economic, and environmental, etc., are heading to a clear destination of the self-destruction. So, new words are, I just try to tell what is the situation globally and subcontinent-wise also. New war are being created, and wars in Ukraine and Gaza have no sign of ending. The threat of the nuclear war is becoming more and more evident. Hundreds of thousands of military and civilians are being killed, injured. Although the warring states are under severe military, social, and economic pressure, none of them are able to stop the war. And they have no capacity to continue the war, and it is reached as the unbearable condition. Citizens are helpless, human rights are denied, but still these wars cannot be stopped. Why? And for these wars serves whom? At the same time, economies also disintegrate gradually. Inequality, and you already mentioned, inequality and wealth concentration have reached an unprecedented level. Environment also the serious concern to serve the free market, to keep the demand high. Unnecessary production and consumption encourage the government themselves. So what are responsible for all this? It is just unlimited greed for the wealth and power. And present economic system has already surrendered to war, to inequality, and to corruption, to wastage. So in that stage, in that present stage, only the social business can come to rescue. It does not simply try to free the people from the poverty, it turns them into the entrepreneurs. It addresses the wider problem of the society. Examples of the social business, because I'm working in the Grameen group and I already have the 2024 5 years experience, and I'm fully involved with the social business. Example of the social business in diverse areas like ICT, affordable healthcare, housing, sanitary facilities, handloom, textile, renewable energy, improved nutrition, clean drinking water, nursing education bear the proof of the social business. Can address the problem of the society in a business way. It's like this business way means it's almost like a conventional. The only difference is it is a non-dividend, non-loss organization. With my long experience with the social business, I can just mention something. One of the program, it is in Grameen Uglena, they have the Genki school feeding program. And Genki means actually healthy. The program provides the nutrition Genki biscuits to combat child nutrition, malnutrition in Bangladesh. One packet, 50 gram Uglena Genki biscuits have 59 types of daily nutritional vitamins, minerals, zinc, and iron, which are essential for the children. Over 17 million biscuits have been distributed in Dhaka slums and another 13 districts.
Nazneen, you have to hurry up.
Besides the fighting malnutrition, it has to enhance children's nutrition, school attendance, and concentration significantly. Another organization I worked for since its foundation, this is Grameen Communications. It's also a social business with the goal of taking ICT
can we leave it for the
at the
second
needs
part?
of
The other.
Sorry?
Can we leave the rest for the second part? Next.
Okay.
Here,
Okay, sir.
please.
Thank you.
Let's have one round first and then, okay. Now it is Raymond Sirius. He's representing Negros Women for Tomorrow Foundation. Again, he's working in the youth development programs in Negros. Please, Raymond.
Mike, thank you, sir, for this. So for us at Negros Women for Tomorrow Foundation, and perhaps over the course of these 2 days in Social Business Day, the theme that and I've been talking to so many people since yesterday, the thing that has been fantastic, particularly in this conference, is the attendance of the youth and the things that they actually shared. And this gives all of us hope that there is actually something that can be done and we can really achieve that new civilization. And that new civilization is because of the hope that the youth can actually pour in with all their fantastic ideas, their innovative business models, and all these things. And our role as supporters of the youth is really to create that ecosystem where they will actually thrive. I think, simply put, everybody here, especially most of the attendees here from the Philippines coming from the microfinance sector, this is really where we can contribute. Make sure that the youth are in a better position to live out their ideas, live out their dreams. That's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you. To be brief also. Thank you. Tobias, Zilba's son.
Thank you. Yeah, some of you heard yesterday that I mostly know about health and well-being, and so I will talk about this and how social business could play a role going forward in this, and I believe it could play a very important role. And to this respect, I will use chronic diseases as an example. So in my home country, more than 40% of the population have at least one chronic disease. But the health system is not set up to deal with chronic diseases. The health system is set up to deal with car accidents, and the health system is set up to deal with infections, right? And so what is actually needed to deal with chronic diseases, right? And every one of you who at some point might have tried to lose weight or get fitter at some point, right? They realize that you don't lose weight by going to the doctor once a quarter, and you don't lose weight by going to the doctor 2 times a year, right? It's a daily behavior change that you need to do, right? And if you have a disease like diabetes, you need to actually think daily about how you eat, how you sleep, how you move, how you deal with your mental well-being, right? And it's a continuous process, not a once per quarter process. It also needs both, you know, from a health system perspective, national support, but it also needs local support. It needs support from the local community. It needs support ideally from the family, right? If my children and my wife are on board with my nutrition change, it will be easier than if only my doctor and I are talking about it. Right? And so therefore, what do we need as a society to deal with chronic diseases, right? I believe we need 3 things. We need a new care model, right? A care model that is continuous and not 1 time per quarter or 2 times per year. And we need tools that help people change their behavior, right? Every one of us knows that doing a diet, right, it can be very frustrating, and not many people do this for a long time. So we need tools to actually help people manage their diseases better. And finally, we need a new financing model to actually pay for that. Because, you know, both in pretty much in all countries, the financing model for health and healthcare has been set up for individual episodes. You pay for individual episodes, you pay for individual medication. So now if we come to the view who could actually change this model, right? We then often have countries, ministries of health, public sector, who is usually not an agile actor to move fast and find out those things and innovate and implement them at the local community level. And if we take private sector organizations, they are often incentivized to maximize profits, which is usually also not going very well. So there are 3 reasons why I'm excited about social business from a chronic disease perspective. First, we need to help people with sustainable behavior change, and that is easier done in a social business model, right, where we heard earlier today that some incubators support those businesses for 7 years, for 12 years, for 30 years. And then secondly, multidisciplinary teams are needed to deal with chronic diseases. So it's not a doctor alone. It's a doctor, it's a nurse, it's a nutritionist, it's a fitness coach maybe. And third, I think it actually could also offer employment and education opportunities. In some interesting experiments and pilots across the world, there are also then, for example, retired people becoming involved in that, right? And you create education and volunteering, but also employment opportunities for retired people. So therefore, I believe that social business could actually play a role to bring those different things together, a new care model, a new financing model, and the tools to actually manage chronic diseases better than today.
Thank you, Tobias. Tobias happens to be the partner of no less than McKinsey & Company. And as you have seen before, he has just finished the whole system of writing the whole system of Shuki, the new venture of social business, Grameen social business. So our next panelist, Suresh Krishna, Managing Director, YSB Fund, Bengaluru, and Executive Chairman, Global Leadership Team, YSB.
Thank you, sir. I see, it's, this 2 days, like every year has been super inspiring for me because, it's reiterating, like Professor says, we are all re-energizing ourselves so that we can continue for 1 more year looking at the challenges and the problems what we keep solving. A few observations which I find in the field when working with various set of people is everybody is super inspired about looking at solving social problems, especially the new generation, all the youth of my age or my children's age. They're all looking at doing something which is not been done earlier, or they do not want to run the same corporate race, but they do want to look at doing some work which is satisfying, which is helping some people, at the same time helping themselves too. So a lot of them are looking at starting new ventures. That is one set of people whom I work with. Another set of people I work with are entrepreneurs who are mid-career, who got frustrated with the corporate life, and they want to start, they're looking at problems and trying to solve those problems, setting up businesses. So these are 2 broad groups of people whom I've been working with in the last 8-10 years now. A few things, observations for me is, all the motivation is there to actually go towards social businesses, but there are a lot of challenges for them to sustain being a social business. A few of them I can quote here, and probably we can delve deeper into that later. One is access to funding, right? They need a lot of resources, which is a little difficult. Second one is all of them, even though they're a social business, they are trying to do good. They are also evaluated and measured on the same metrics as a regular commercial business. So they have now a big challenge for them to look at what is the measure of their success. Like if anybody, any funder or any resource people, or any resources to acquire, if they're also measured on the same metrics as a regular commercial business, they will not become eligible for that. So that's one of the biggest challenges which most of them feel. They all start, they move to a certain level of organization, but later on they find it difficult to actually scale up so that they can actually have a lot more significant and meaningful impact. There are a lot of different other challenges there. But I feel that these are the two main issues which I find from the people who have started enterprises. And those people who are looking at starting an enterprise, again, the resources are an issue. So there are other issues. I think I'll stop here for now, and maybe we can come back to that later.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Next, we have seen and heard Faiz Shah, Head Development Management Director, Yunus Center, Asian Institute of Technology, and also Grameen, Thailand. Faiz.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, I think a lot has been encapsulated very well. I'd like to just start by saying, by kind of reinforcing or reflecting how I think social business actually is a movement. It carries all the hallmarks of a movement. As we know movements, there's a shared vision, there's collective action, there is inspiring leadership, there is a desire for catalyzing change, there is the yearning for scale and impact, and of course there is enormous community buy-in. These are the characteristics of a community or a change movement. So by any standards you measure it, social business is a movement. And the qualities that I just mentioned, derived from various readings, indicate that what Professor Yunus has been able to achieve in the years of his work do qualify as a movement. And as people who are charged with elements of projecting the movement or taking elements of it forward, it is also our job to make sure that we have a vision, we have a plan, and we have a kind of a roadmap for the future. Now, what Professor Yunus has provided us in terms of that roadmap is quite comprehensive, and it continues to be consolidated and it continues to grow. For instance, since I've been relatively an old hand at this, my first audiences or my first listening sessions in the early social business days, we saw social business as enormously inspiring, but there were not enough concrete practical examples to be shared at that point in time. So it was more driven by a vision, and a very compelling vision. But as time has moved on, we have one after the other seen how this vision is actually becoming reality. So that to me is the strongest guarantee of success for social business in the future. The accompanying tendencies, or the accompanying trends that we have seen is that there has been a greater recognition of what we have done to our world, what we have done to our environment, how we have exploited the goodwill of constituencies to create enormous profits, but in return yielded, less than perfect products and at enormous cost. So there is a demand for an alternative that people wish to see. And I think that social business is enormously well placed to provide that alternative. And fortunately, through this movement, we are seeing more and more people understand the value that social business as an alternative to the current destructive mechanisms provides to us. We also find, and I agree, that this increasing social consciousness is a great traction for our work. But here's the relatively less good news. We have not been as successful as I think we owe it to the movement and to Professor Yunus in propagating a general understanding of what social business is. And that, to me, is the only first step that we still haven't taken effectively. We have created examples, we've created role models, we've inspired thousands of people. But even still, people come up and say, what is the difference between social business and regular business? What is the difference between social enterprise and social business? So our job as the carriers of the movement is to expand this understanding. And I think that, to me, is a primary role. And then what Suresh has said and what other panelists have said about access to funding, of building capacity, of building standards of implementation, of impact, are all valid, but they are valid after we ensure that the uniform understanding of the term and the words that Professor Yunus has uttered time and again is understood across the board. So that's my first bit, and I've got other stuff to say, but we can get back to that as well. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, Abdul Hanan Chaudhary,
Thank you very
Dean,
much.
School of Business and Economics,
Former
North
Dean,
South
yeah.
University.
Thank you
Bangladesh.
very much. I think all of us, those who joined in the Social Business Day 2024, yesterday in the inauguration session, the keynote speech that Professor Yunus has given on the theme of the, this conference or summit, whatever we call it, we are going to take away today at the last as a takeaway that what we're going to do in our own field. Everyone wants to talk about in their own. I, being part of academia, I'm going to also focus on only on the academia, that as being part of the academic, arena, what should we take from this, summit? And as a concluding session, I would emphasize on few, points in a nutshell, like, we do, in the academic, because the academic system has collapsed, and Professor Yunus has also gave sort of blames to the academics. They have actually designed this economic system. That is something I think we should take also responsibility, being part of the academia. So, the one very thing that we have to do actually promoting social business as a solution, because most of us think social business is a catalyst for change. So we are going to we have to emphasize the role of social business in addressing the failures and harmful effects on traditional profit-driven business models on society, and also the environmental loss. The other part for academics always very important, which we would like to always emphasize on academic research and innovation, because this is what we are always encouraging people to be engaged in rigorous academic research to deepen our understanding of how social business operate and their impact on communities and economies and their potential scalability. We have to redesign many educational initiatives, developing academic, educational programs and curricula that truly integrate and incorporate social business concepts into mainstream business education. We being as also part of the academia, we have a role actually to take it to public advocacy part, so that we can actually engage with the policymakers, stakeholders to advocate to policies and all sort of supports that are needed. And one of the very, if you would like to do in a fast mode, very important thing is actually global collaboration and networking. Global collaboration and networking, that means we do have to build a global network of academics, research, practitioners, and advocates to share their best practices, and to bring those things in the research fund, so that we can see that, well, more research projects are coming in terms of the impact study and amplify the impact of social business initiatives worldwide. That is what we really need. And obviously, in terms of the practice ground, we have to think about the ethical and sustainable practices. This is, we have to promote. We have to promote practices, sustainability within social business, and ensuring that they are going to uphold high standards of transparency and accountability and social responsibility also. And one of the very important thing also, being part of the academia, we are always emphasizing on the measurement part of the impact and evaluation. So developing a robust metrics and the methodology for measuring the social, environmental, and economic impact of social business, which are very important. And obviously at the end, I would say that I will be concluding here that public awareness and engagement, where academicians take part, researchers take part, raising awareness among the general public about the concept of social business and its benefit and its potential transform to societies for the better world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now is the time. We'll listen Professor Yunus. I'm sure his remarks will go cut across the whole panel. And maybe he will show some means of operationalizing all these change of direction or whatever. So he's free to speak for some time.
Thank you.
So
No,
we've
been discussing these bits, pieces, and so on, and they presented it in their perspective. It's all part of the whole. It's not something that we are disagreeing with each other. I tried to sum up all this in my way, and that's a topic that we put there. What is the exit route? Because this is a self-destructive system. We have to find an exit route. I don't see any other way. You cannot save yourself, or we cannot save ourselves by going to the same way we have been doing over the past. And any amount of repair job, any amount of reforms probably cannot keep us in the planet to survive. So we need a different route. There I've been talking about creating a new civilization so that there's no compromises. You make it very sharp, very clear that we are nothing less than creating a new civilization is going to work. So what will be the elements of those new civilization? That's what we have been discussing. Rediscover ourselves as a human being. Because the present civilization, the basis of the present civilization, economics has defined it, is the profit maximization. And in the process, we lost all human qualities. All we know how to make money, even if you destroy the planet, doesn't matter, but you have to make money. I think that's kind of self-destructive way of behaving and ultimately gets to the self-destruction. So we have to get away from the profit maximization theme as the only way to do that. I'm not dismissing the whole profit maximization entirely, so that to begin with, we open the door so that you can have another kind of business to solve problems without having any intention of making money for yourself. So this is the theme that we make as exit route, try to see if this one work with the social business. And social business is the way to protect ourselves, because this is not based on profit maximization. This is based on human values of sharing and caring. I think we forgot that we are human beings. That's what all the problem begins there. So I said, let's rediscover ourselves human being and build a civilization based on what we understand as the essential elements of human being, what the human values. And that's, if you want to add up, if you want to sum up, is the essential part of human being is about sharing and caring, concern for others, not just me, but we together on this planet and move on. So this is the one new civilization. And what is a concrete step for that? And my way of looking at it is a kind of first cut of it. I thought this is one way. We have to create a new generation completely. Because the generation that we are going through ourselves is wrongly put in the direction that we saw in the concept that we have developed for ourselves. Those are pushing us into the old death path. So we need to create a new generation completely. So give it a formal shape so that you can address this issue. I was trying to see if this will work as a creation of what I'm calling a 3-0 clubs, so that the young people get interested in the picture. So I'm emphasizing on the young people. And I'm almost saying that don't depend on the people who are over your age, who are not young, who are older than you. Because their minds are already contaminated with all the old ideas, all the things and so on. So don't get their advice. They will not give you any good advice. You figure out what are the things that you need. You want good things among the things that the older people are saying? Pick them up, not the wholesale. Pick them up what will be useful to you. And create your own world. And create the world that you want. So the new generation has to be aware that they have to build a new civilization. So that's the 3-0 club that we see. This is one entry point. And how to get to that, how to build this up on their own, rather than be influenced by the outsiders like us. We're not influencing. They build it up in their own way. So this is the most essential part of it, to create a new generation. Here, this is the club is the beginning. Then you have the next right to it is the education. Education system has to change. An education system which is a job-oriented education system has to be kind of abandoned. We have to create a new education system which will help you to become what you are. You are a creative person, you remain a creative person, and you become an entrepreneur. Change the world. Each young person will come out of the education system with the dreams of a new world, for how you change this world, how you do the things that you dream of. And that will be the essence of the education system, how you adjust us in the educational norms. We have to figure that out. So the education system becomes very important, and club simply gives you an introduction to yourself, what you want to be. An education system is something make you fulfill those wishes, how to make that happen. And as an adult, as you become ready, you change the world. And you start as this young guy, as a 12-year-old, 13-year-old guy, started those. But as you go up, you come full blast to make sure you can do that. And I conclude by saying that nothing is impossible for human being if we make up our mind. So how to make up our mind and make that happen? That's the essential thing for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now what we can propose is, after what Professor Yunus said and what each other said, you can add to what you wanted to say between 1 to 2 minutes. I will start with Valerie.
Well, thank you. I can, of course, I'm completely aligned with everything that has been shared. I will add that corporates have a role to play, have to change. And I will say, fortunately, there are new rules, financial or even economic rules that force now corporates to change. There are new new endorsements, such certification, such B Corp, which is pushing also corporates to move towards being better. Entreprise à mission, which is a specific status of French corporate in France, for French corporates. So I think that there is stuff around regulation, financial standard that will push corporates also to move towards the right direction. This is what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you very much. Nazneen, please. Nazneen, you can add something if you want.
She's muted.
Yes. Actually, when Sir is telling all this, then there is no point to take. So to build a new civilization, we can actually give us the attention to the business school and others to disseminate the benefits of the 3 zeros, so the young person, they can came out with the ideas and ability to do something. So this is one thing we can do for to take forward, to move forward our movement, social business movement. Another some issues, actually, when we call it the social business, there is some challenges over the years. There is some challenges, so we have to build up the people in the school and in the college level and business schools to disseminate our ideas and to fulfill our movement.
Thank you, Nazneen. Thank you very much. Next, Raymond.
Yeah. Thank you. I think for me, I just reiterate what I said earlier. Our role here is to nurture the ideas of the youth and make sure they have a pathway to experiment. This is what happened. This is the success of microcredit, why we are also successful in microcredit. Now we need to learn from that success and use that success, leverage that success to actually influence the youth and lead them into this direction, because they will be the ones that will guide us out of this civilization into a new and better one. That's it.
Thank you, Raman. Vice.
Well, once I had the privilege to lead a health program for a few thousand people, and people could decide whether they want to join or not. And I always got 3 questions from people. First one was, how does that help me? Second was, how can I fit it into my busy life? And the third question was, is it fun? So let's make social business together with the young generation. Let's make it fun. Let's tell them how it helps, and let's show them how they can fit it into their lives together.
Thank you, Tobias.
Thank you. I think I would like to draw my experiences from the whole microfinance movement, which Sir was the one who led all of us there. For any movement to sustain and then grow and scale, one is definitely the inspiration is required. But apart from that, there is a lot of other supportive ecosystem need to come in. So for example, I think we need to have more different funding supports need to be coming from different sources. We need to have educational institutions, academia doing research and then probably supporting and educating, making social business as a part of the curriculum of every graduate school, or every student who comes out of the college should also know about social business. We should also create certain kind of leadership development programs. There's a lot of youth out there who at some point of time get stuck even though they start off their journey. So how do we continue to educate them, continue to keep them motivated, help them solve their problems and grow them so that they can become bigger leaders. I think maybe there is an opportunity for us to create certain leadership development programs in educational institutions for the people who are running social businesses already. We should also look at design labs, I think, or a growth support labs. I think if I look at most of the social businesses, with the exceptions of a few, most of them are small. They're not very large. So it is nice to see all of them growing, but for them to take from that stage to next level, so then there is a lot of support required. So that design labs, growth support labs, supportive ecosystem for them which is required. These are points which I feel which is also need to come up.
Right, well, my job to make it really snappy, we're 1 minute behind now. Well, I think nothing can be said, couldn't be said better than what Sir said, that, this is a way of saving ourselves. This is the alternative that we must propagate. Now, coming in from my bread and butter, which is teaching and capacity building, I think one thing that we've done relatively successfully in the last few years is creating the shape and form of a discipline as social business emerges, creating courses and now programs and soon a PhD. But one thing that we might want to double down on is creating linkages with other disciplines which play a very strong intersecting role. Economics, social development, sustainability, micro-enterprise. So all these are disciplines which are more evolved. What we perhaps need to do in our next strategy, our next way forward, is building stronger interdisciplinary linkages so that what we teach connects with what other people are teaching, and that will reform our pathway into a more mainstream pathway. And then the alternative that Sir has been very successfully propagating will become mainstream, and it will cease to be a novelty or an outside discipline and become a main discipline. And I think that's one very strong way of going forward through the education pathway.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hanan Chaudhary.
Yeah, thank you. I think I'm going to be again with Professor Yunus. He has actually emphasized 3 things in his discussion. He said that while wealth concentration is a big problem and profit-driven mindset is also a question, and eventually he has actually given emphasis on education. Education sector, education system has to be drastically changed. So my point is actually we have to embrace technology because the way the technology is embedded in every aspect of our life, we see even the business models, the way like TikToks and Facebooks and many models that we do not see their social side, but they are giving huge wealth concentration from corporate point of view. So how do we actually address those things to change the mindset of the young people in the academia? Because he gave emphasis on the youths, and most of the youths are in the university, in the school, in the college, and these are the things that we really need to focus and work on it in future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A last word from Professor Yunus.
No, I just wanted to mention how furious we were during the COVID-19 period. We were desperately trying to convince the world to make the vaccine as an intellectual property right free, so that there will be no intellectual property right on vaccine, so that everybody can produce that vaccine wherever they have the capacity. And the whole world has so much capacity to produce that vaccine. So we campaigned, and the tremendous amount of support throughout the world, including Philippines. We got so much support around. But when the final round of voting came to WTO, we were surprised that almost all countries supported it, except for 10 richest countries in the world. So it didn't pass because it has to be unanimous decision. We were extremely frustrated with the whole world views to make it intellectual property free. Two things would happen if we could make it intellectual property right free. One, it could be produced all over the world and guarantee quality and so on and so forth. And it could be cheaper, much cheaper, because you're not adding things for the intellectual property right. But that didn't happen. As a result, the vaccines were produced, vaccine was distributed, but bulk of the 80% of all those vaccines produced in the world went to the 10 countries, 80%. And the remaining world has to be satisfied with 20%. As a result, people died. Pharmaceutical companies who produced vaccines made billions of dollars, and they were very happy about that. So this is a kind of very stark way how to present the situation of the economy and their thinking and the process that goes, because that money controls also the government. Government was influenced not to support the intellectual property right so that they can make lots of money for that. So since then, we are saying that we should be making healthcare system as entirely a social business system. Pharmaceutical companies to be created with a social business pharmaceutical company. Today, pharmaceutical companies are money-making companies. For a penny worth of medicine, you can sell it for $1 for kind of thing. It's an enormous amount of profit added to it, and explaining that they have to spend a lot of money in research and so on. We said, we'll pay you all the research money. Don't worry about that. But still, it will be penny worth. So how to create it? So our first focus will be, entire focus would be change the entire health system. The new generation will take time, but this is immediate. We can create a whole pharmaceutical industry and all healthcare system as a social business economic system. And if you put our minds into it, we can make a beginning of it. It's possible. We can mobilize funds to create social business pharmaceutical companies so that we can produce and sell and make it available at the genuine price, with the cost of production that it could be done. And we can all collaborate into doing that and see how to make that happen. Commitment is entire health system should be run on a social business system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hope the combined wisdom will lead us somewhere. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Yunus, for your guidance. And thanks all the panelists. Thank you very much.
I thought it doesn't end. Finally, it ends. That's why I'm here, to make it ending. Well, it's a wonderful occasion. As I said in the beginning, this is a family reunion. And this really turned out to be a family reunion with a purpose. And we have met people, met friends, and made new friends. And this is, I think, this is the best social business day that we ever had. Let's give big applause. Give big applause. Arrangements were wonderful, and the planning was wonderful. Presentation was superb, each one of us. So let's give a big applause for the management people who did that. Amazing performance, fantastic performance. It's unbelievable. We should take a lesson from this for how to organize Social Business Day. Next one, whoever will do it, they will have tough time to get to that level. And thanks to everybody who is behind all these things. The concept of it and presentation of it, selection of the speakers, panel discussions, topics, everything. So we are very happy with the day we performed this 2 days of discussion and bringing family members closer to each other. Lots of new ideas have germinated here. It's not visible now. When you go back, when you start working, you'll find out something new happening to you because something got into your mind and is now sprouting. It takes time to sprout. It's not sudden. So this will be sprouting, and that is the beginning of something great to emerge from you, as all of us together, to make it happen so that we can report to the next one, so that we feel that we are really set to create a new civilization and a new world. And that's the task. That's what human beings are all about, making impossible possible. That is the purpose of human being, not just follow on what we do every day. That's not human task. That's animals do that. Human beings are very different kinds of things. They challenge everything. They do it better every day and reject things to bring new things happening. So I think this was a good germination period that we had. And when we go back, it will sprout. And thanks to all the speakers and all the delegations. Let's give a big applause to all the people who have participated in this, all the family members who participated. Let's remember what we have discussed so that we can go back and make that happen. Thank you very much. Thank you. And with this, the
Okay, so we wait for months and months and months for this annual event, and now it's coming to a close. So it's a sad moment. So our vision, given to us by Professor Yunus, is to create a world of 3 zeros: zero net carbon, zero wealth concentration, and zero unemployment. These are very ambitious vision, and sorry. This is a very ambitious vision, so it needs the involvement of everybody. And that's actually the purpose of why we do this conference, is to bring together all the people in our network around the world, the senior ones, the younger ones, bring them together to work on these issues, because we have big ambition and we don't have very much time. So I was saying that we bring the big examples, the ones that reach hundreds of thousands, the ones that reach millions, but we also bring the small ones, the new ideas that are, as Sir said, is the seed bed. So something like Shuki Digital Health, or the Seaweed Social Business from Thailand, or the Virunga Microcredit Program in the Congo Forest. But we also have to bring, besides the practitioners, all the people who help to build the ecosystem. So we talk about bringing academia, we bring in foundations, we bring in NGOs, we bring in companies, we bring in all the young people to do this. And Sir is talking about a civilizational change. And as I said, we're on a time crunch. So we bring in also things like the sports sector that has so much resources behind it and that brings so much of the world's attention behind it. Bring them into it and see how they can be part of making the transformational change. The environment, circularity, zero waste, these are existential issues for us. So we have now a big focus on that. So we bring in the kids and the young people, and that's what all the 3-0 Club movement is about. We need to start making the change now. They bring in their new thinking, their new energy into the movement, and we have to start now. We have 4,000, we need 400,000, we need 4 million, and so on. So we bring everyone together because we want to gain energy from each other, we want to exchange ideas, we want to exchange best practices, so we can take the mission forward for the rest of the year till we meet again. Behind the Social Business Day, there's a big, big organization. We had 7 plenaries, we had 4 glimpses sessions, we had 3 announcement segments, we had the opening and closing plenary, we had 9 breakout sessions, we had 10 country forums, and there's a huge work to do to make all this come together. So I want to thank, first of all, NWTF. It's been a pleasure to work with our partner of 35 years to host this event. And we look forward actually to continuing the celebrations in Bacolod. Your hospitality and this beautiful venue and all the tireless work for months and months and months. Thank you so much. I want to thank all the colleagues in the Grameen social business, Grameen family in Bangladesh, around the world who've supported this and who've been brought in they've been the resource persons for the bringing together of this program. I have to thank my team at Yunus Center, maybe by name, just a second. Sorry.
Sticks.
Zahir, Urmi, Aziz, Shabbir, Shihab, Rifat, Zinat, Tanzina, Arman, and Shoykut. Thank you very much. You've been working day and night to make this happen. NWTF, I mentioned, the board and the team, Suzette, Cora, Raymond, Andy, Pressy, Tina, and rest of the team and all the volunteers who we do not see, thank you very much. I have to find the YY Ventures team. Hold on a second. And the YY Ventures team that's powered this behind the scenes as well. Shazib, Sadia, Fariha, Ankita, Daisy, Humaira, Ilora, thank you very much. Our MCs, Erica, Sadia, Shihab, thank you very much. All the delegates, all the speakers, all the facilitators, all the session hosts, all the caterers, the SMX Aura venue, the production teams, the events team, the journalists and the volunteers, and the delegates, all of you who've come from 26 countries. Thank you very much, and a big applause to you. And thank you to Professor Yunus, whose vision and tireless efforts propel us forward. And happy birthday again, sir. Thank you, everyone, for your participation, enthusiasm, and commitment to build a better world. We look forward to seeing you at the next Social Business Day. Thank you.
So we won't forget, we also have a list of people to thank. So on behalf of NWTF, we would like first to thank our sponsors, ASA Philippines Foundation, Mercantile Insurance, and Insular Life.
And a big thanks to you as well, to the production team led by Beng and Monique, whose design of this space is beautiful, blended with all these flowers, the plants here. Yes. And the technology and the, everything that went with it.
Then on my list is the 10 30 Clouds of Negros chapter volunteers who have been very helpful this week.
To everyone at UNO Center, the YY Ventures, and everyone in their teams, not just those who are here in person, but as well as those in Dhaka and the other parts of the world.
And to Shazib, who was the first one who believed we can host this thing, and is actually the one that executed all this very well.
And to Lamia, most of all. Lamia, who has been a great support to all of this, and her direction, and the oversight, and the inspiration that she gave the team that prepared this.
In my list, to Professor Yunus for his wisdom, oversight, and inspiration to all this entire process.
And of course, we would also like to thank all the board and foundation members and the entire staff at NWTF for all the hard work of this event and ensuring that we have a meaningful 40th anniversary.
Lastly, we would like to thank every one of you who came to Manila to join us celebrate the Social Business Day 2024, all the international guests, and all the Filipino participants, and those who joined us online. Thank you very much. And we hope that we, in our own little way, we have inspired you to start or to move on to the next chapter of our social business journey. Thank you.
Okay. And lastly, thank you very much. Until the next family gathering.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Okay.
Full faces in these two wings so that they can also see. Can we have it, please? All right, shall we go? Shall we go? go 3 zeros. This is how we do 3 zeros. All right. Arman bhai to chomatkar jagay boschen. All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Now, we need more? All right, thank you so much. Can we have our friends from Nepal? We have 29 people from Nepal. Nepal. Can we have our friends from Nepal here? Can we please have our friends from Nepal here? Oh, we got a Nepal flag. Put the flag on. Okay, can we have our friends from Nepal here, please? What's it? All right, Nepal, shall we go? 3, 2, 1, 3 zeros. All right, one last time with the flag. All right, can we have everyone from Bangladesh? Can we have Bangladesh here? Please come over. Guys, Bangladesh. Bangladesh, up next, Bangladesh. Our friends from Taiwan can be online. I'm going to call you next. After Taiwan, it's going to be Thailand. Can we have everyone from Bangladesh? Everyone from Bangladesh, can we have you? Yeah, it's fine. Stage. Purple. Country wise, korte pare, I think. Yeah. Upare asan. Yeah, asan. It's just 3 জনের বেশি আসা যাবে না ভাই উপরেও চলে আসতে পারেন কয়েকজন উপরে চলে আসতে পারেন অলরাইট হ্যাঁ নো NWT এর স্টেপ দেখতে বলতে হবে অলরাইট এভরিওয়ান বাংলাদেশ Yunus Center YY Ventures অলরাইট লেটস ডু বাংলাদেশ 0 1 2 3 0 All right, 1, 2, 3, 0. Ankita, are you here? All right. 3, 0. Good. Thank you so much. Taiwan, come on over on stage. Taiwan, yay. All right, Taiwan, come on in. I would like more volume, but whenever I speak, yeah. All right, Taiwan, yeah. All right, William, are we good to go? Raymond. All right, 1, 2, 3 zeros. William, make some noise. Good. All right. 1, 2, 3 zeros. Taiwan, thank you so much. Can I have my friends from Thailand now? I will. Thailand. Can we have Thailand? Quickly, guys, quickly. I'm sorry, can you guide them to leave this? Okay. Okay, guys. All right, guys, we have the next group coming up. All right, thank you so much. quick. I will. Can we have the biggest clap for all Filipinos? Thank you so much. Are you going to make a big noise for you too? All Filipinos. Thank you so much. All right, up next, can we have all staff of Yunus Center? Can we clap for Yunus Center? সৈকত তোমার ভাই বোনদেরকে তাদের আসতে বলো Okay. Okay. Can we also have YY Ventures team, please? So YC and YYB team on stage, please. And can we have the music a little louder? Yunus Center and YY Ventures team. Guys, where are you? Okay. Okay, please go ahead. All right. One last picture for Philippines. I will. সবাইকে দেব. All right, one last picture for Philippines. Sir. Come on, everyone. You want to taste the cake? Ooh. All right, we are going to continue to take some more pictures with Professor Yunus. I know that a lot of you want pictures. I know we have delegations, smaller in number, but equal in strength. Where are my friends from Mexico? Yes, come over. All right, Mexico, come first. Come on, here. Okay. What?
It's the key that moves and singing as we dance in the night. Remember how the stars go high. Yeah.
If you do not like so many chocolates, you can buy some of it. All right. And if there is anyone in the audience, if you would like to have a team picture, country picture, come on in. Our friends from Italy. And where is this gentleman who has traveled the furthest? Tulio, come on in from Brazil. All right, where is Tulio? Yes, I'm here. Up next, I would like to call on stage managing directors and leaders and advisors of the Grameen family of social businesses. Sorry? Australians. I will call. Yeah. All right, Australia next. Oh, sorry. Italy, Australia, then Grameen and this. Arman Bhai, Shamsul Bhai. Trust. All right, we have Italy now, please. Okay, friends from Australia. Paula, do you want to join them? Are you not Australian? Okay. You could also join Tulio. You did not do that too. All right, Italy next. Italy next. Please go. Please go. Yes, ask to say. Ask to say. I say. All right, up next we have friends from Australia. Thank you, friends from Italy. Can we have our friends from Australia? All right, yeah. You're a mix of, no, you're 25% Brazil, 25% Filipino, 25% Australian, 25% global. All right, friends from Australia. Up next, the leadership of Grameen social businesses in Bangladesh. The leadership of Grameen social businesses in Bangladesh. আজকে আমরা সবাই সুখী আজকে আমরা সবাই সুখী Can we have our friends from India? Bishwajita, Suresh. Bishwajita, Suresh. Are you here? All right, our friends from Bulgaria. Come on in. You can go. Do we have friends from India? Bulgaria. All right, we have friends from Belgium. Just an Azimuth team. Okay? Please come on in. Azimuth. আমার ছবি তুলে আসো 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 ফোনটা কাউকে দাও পারিয়া তুমি কই alright our friends from India Ankita give the phone to Raymond alright I would like to take one last picture of everyone who has worked tirelessly in terms of organizing the Social Business Day 2024. NWTF staff, Unicenter staff, production crew, whoever wants to be part of the picture can come in the front. All right, can we take one picture here? Apu? Okay. No, would you like to join a picture? Farhia, তুমি কই? Where is Farhia? All right, everyone who's part of the organization of Social Business Day 2024. Farhia, here. All right. All right, everyone who has been part of the organizing team, production crew of Social Business Day 2024. All right, guys, everyone who has taken part in organization of the Social Business Day, seems like everyone is tired. All right, the last picture with all the production team. Can everyone come? Please go there. Please go. Sir, these are two ladies. Please come in. Two heads of the production team. Sorry. Ashu. Uh, you got busy eating the cake. No, you got busy eating the cake. All right, we do one last picture with the heads of the production team. Okay. Please come here. Yes. Alex, no, I said, Alex, come over. Can I have the 30 Club members and would be 30 Club members from Negros on stage? Princess. Can I have Princess on stage? Guys, move first. Prince. All right, 30 Club members from Negros. Guys, come this side, come this side. Come this side. Come this side. Come this side, this side. This side, come here. Get closer, yeah. No, sure, you are all welcome to come. I said all the other names that I didn't say are welcome to come. Yeah. All right, thank you so much. Alex would like a picture, yeah. Yeah, sure, yeah. Two speakers. All right. friends from South Africa. Anyone else who would like a picture? We are going to stay here for maybe another 2 minutes. So, yeah, get on, get on. It's okay, it's okay. Yeah. All right, Erica, come over. All right, one final song, then we are going to leave. And sorry. What is saying? Raymond. Oh. No, come on, listen. Get in. Yeah, listen. Oh, okay. What? এখন না Andy, do you want to come? Prince, where have you been? Andy, from here.